Just a quick heads up before we start. On Sandwiched, we talk honestly about life, loss, and caregiving. That means conversations may touch on topics such as death and grief. We invite you to listen with care, and please do step away if you need to. Welcome back to Sandwiched, the podcast powered by Tumbleweed, where we explore what it means to care for others while finding your way back to yourself. I'm your host, Paul Richardson, and today's guest is someone whose journey beautifully captures that balance between purpose and perseverance. Sherrell D. Mims is a psychiatric nurse, an entrepreneur, and the founder of Caregivers Network, which is a community that began in 2021 and now connects caregivers around the world. Sherrell identifies as a baby boomer and a proud member of the sandwich generation. Her story began long before her life as a nurse. It started at age 11 when she became a family caregiver for her father. Through decades in nursing, including the unimaginable experiences during COVID, and now through the Global Caregivers Network, Sherrell has dedicated her life to supporting those who give so much of themselves. I'm excited to be joining Sherrell and other speakers on Saturday, November 8th, 2025, at the 3rd Annual Global Caregiver Symposium. Details in the show notes. Sherrell, I'm so grateful you're here today. Welcome to Sandwiched.
Thank you so much, Paul, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. Before we get started, obviously I shared a little about your background, but would you like to share with our listeners from your own words, just a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely, Paul. Thank you so much. So for your wonderful audience, I am Sherrell D. Mims, and as Paul has already mentioned, I am the founder of Global Caregivers Network and Global Caregiver Speakers. The network, the Global Caregivers Network, was founded in June 18th, 2022. I said the 2021 because that was really during the time when the pandemic was in, right? But it's really the 2022. Either what they say, anywho, we're going to get them dates together. And so with all of that being said, what is going on with the network? The network is exclusively for caregivers, professional and family around the world. Listen, we all know someone who is a caregiver. Your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, and your grandparents. And listen, what about your neighbors? Yeah. They are caregivers as well. So this is where the Global Caregivers Network was established and founded on. And like Paul also mentioned, I have been taking care of my dad since the tender age of 11. But however, I didn't know I was going to be a nurse, which I'm a registered nurse, been one for over 2 decades and counting. Listen, I don't look like what I've been through. But I've been through some things, okay? And so I'm just going to fast forward into the Global Caregiver Speakers, which that is all about what? The caregivers coming to the virtual stage right now to share their caregiving journey. We all have a caregiver story. I mean, listen, Mom, if you had a baby, you definitely have a caregiver story to share, right? Dad, you have a caregiver story because you was there with Mom when she had the baby. And so, I mean, all of this is caregiving, right? Yeah. And then what about your siblings and your other family members? All of us are in this together. And this is what Global Caregivers Network and Speakers is all about. My whole focus, all of my passion, everything, my fiber of my being is about caregiving. It is my passion. And not just that, listen, I've been doing this thing for a while, right? 20 plus years and counting. I really just stopped counting at 20. It has been way more days than that. However, with all of that being said, I love what I do. I love what I do. It's my career. I got into nursing because I wanted to, and I love taking care of God's children. So what about you? Are you a caregiver? I know a lot of you are. If you are, put it in the chat. Let's talk about it. I know Paul has some other questions for me, but we got to connect, right?
Yes.
We are all caregivers. Think about it. You said you may just be sitting on the couch right now and look over at the kids. Yep, I'm a caregiver.
Yeah. It reminds me of you're either a caregiver, have been a caregiver, will be a caregiver, or need to be cared for.
Exactly.
right? That's
And that
all
is
of
the
us.
famous Rosalind Carter.
Yep.
I
Yep.
love her.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And that really is beautiful. And like yourself, I feel like I get to live my life's purpose each day. And it sounds like you feel the same way. Let's take a step back. So you had shared that you started caregiving at the age of 11 with your father. Would you mind sharing a
correct.
little bit more about that story and kind of what was happening at that time for your father?
Oh my, yes, absolutely, Paul. Thank you for that question. So yes, at the tender age of 11. Now 11 years old. Okay, come on. You know I don't know what's going on. I mean, I'm 11, right? However, listen, you would be speed bumped into situations, right? You'd be thrust into being a caregiver. A lot of you can relate to that, where you have been thrust into being a caregiver, and especially during the pandemic, right? So let's talk about how I became one initially. My dad, who was working at the plant, I think it was Chrysler, right? He was working there, and then he was seizures. I knew nothing about no seizures. I mean, a grand mal seizure. What the heck is that at 11?
Yeah.
Right? So along the way, we found out that it was alcohol induced
Oh,
seizures.
okay.
Had no idea, don't know nothing about it, right? So with that happening as a child, 11 years young, and mind you, my family was in on it as well, but I just felt this unction in me to take care of my father. You know how it is, father, daughter, daughter, father. We love our fathers. I will hope you do. If you don't, we'll be praying for you. But that father daughter love was just so precious to me at that tender age of 11. So, of course, yes, I'm going to help my father. I'm going to take care of my father. So that's what I did. Whatever I could do for my father. I remember one day when he had a grand mal seizure. That is when the whole body is just stiff, rigid, shaking, uncontrollable. He had no idea what happened, right? Because they have what they call the post epileptical coming out of the seizure. It's a part in there where they have amnesia. So I took care of my father the best way I knew how. And of course, my mom was there, my siblings was there, but I just felt this unction in my spirit to take care of my father. And that's what I did. You know, gave him what he wanted. He wanted something to eat, something to drink. I put a pillow under his head and all these things. And then that's when I knew, you know what? This is what I want to do. I didn't know I want to be a nurse. I had no idea. 11, I mean, I'm in middle school, trying to figure out life myself. But these are the things that happen when you're young. How many family members, youth caregivers do we have out there? So that's a whole nother sermon for a whole nother day. But that's how I initially got started in it with my dad and him having unfortunately alcohol induced seizures.
Has that continued on as he's aged, or has that slowed down over time?
Unfortunately, my dad passed away in 1984
Okay.
from just the drinking, I guess, and it all took effect on him because when you drink, it affects
Yeah.
the body. So the liver was affected, right?
Yeah.
He ended up with cirrhosis of the liver, and unfortunately, he passed away in August of 1984.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
But everything worked itself out, though.
Yeah.
As a young kid, 11, you bounce back, right?
Yeah.
Of course, I love my dad. I did what I needed to do. But at that age, you're thinking, wow, things happen.
Things
But you tend
happen.
to bounce back quickly when you're younger.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't rub on you so hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
With the different stages of grief. You grieve for a little while, then you back out there playing. No.
Well, and maybe that's the blessing of being a young person with grief, right? Is that that you can hopefully bounce back a little bit easier.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like
Absolutely.
that helped you find your path to your purpose. So,
It
you
did.
know, a terrible situation that has helped really allow you to impact so many people's lives in your day to day. And now in your work with GCN and the Global Caregiver Speaker Network.
Yes.
So much big stuff. Well, let's jump ahead a little bit. March 10th, 2020. That's the day you said that everything changed. Can you walk us through what was happening at that moment in time?
I was screaming. when they declared March 10th, 2020, as the pandemic, that was a day of horrific day. It was just overwhelming, totally overwhelming, caught a lot of people off guard, and especially in the hospitals, in the healthcare around the world, right? So let me give you a scenario of how I went through this horrific situation. I'm in the healthcare as a nurse. Of course, we in the hospital. I'm on the med surg unit, right? Everybody coming in, they leaving. No, they coming in, but they're not leaving, right? Not so fast. So let's talk about a day in the life of a nurse during the COVID, the pandemic. Number one, you come through the door, you punch in, you go ahead and take the report, right? You on the unit. Before I even get to the unit, though, we had to put on what we call personal protective equipment, PPE. What does that entail? You had the goggles, you had the net, you had the gown, the gloves, the booties, and of course, the whole day we had to wear this. Mind you, we're sweating, we're tearing, we're trying to do the best we can. We're leaning on each other. I mean, this was a time when we really was leaning on each other. It was just so much going on. It was happening so fast, right? And we had to be in quarantine, right?
Yeah.
We was there in the hospital taking care of your loved one, my loved ones, right? Mind you, no one could come in as far as visitation. That none of that was going on. We did the best we could with what we had. And what we had was scarce. I'm talking about the personal protective equipment. Scarce. Everyone still kind of scared. I mean, we in the back room, we just crying and, just taking care of one another, right?
Yeah.
Now, the situation with the patients, you can imagine how they was feeling. I mean, they would come in, and another thing, the doctor was trying to get them out as soon as possible as well, because that was literally an incubator of COVID, right?
Yep.
And that was not a pretty picture. I mean, we sweating, we tearing, we crying, we in the back, we doing the best we can. All of this was taking place, Paul, in a place that we didn't even ask for it.
Yeah.
But it happened. So you always have to be prepared for what? The unexpected. Always be prepared for the unexpected. So during that journey, though, it was many days I just went home crying. Literally just went home crying, thinking, oh my goodness. Then I had to go back, right? I was still working 3 days, 12 hours. And I was on a travel nurse assignment. So I had to work those days. The thing about working the days was when you got there, you literally wasn't leaving until 12 or 13 hours later.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we did the best we could.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I was also working in a healthcare system that had a hospital, multiple hospitals actually, during that same time in California. And so was my fiance at the time. He was actually finishing up his nursing degree. And so he was on rotations. And it was, I experienced it from the administrative side, which is not the same, right? I was, we're on calls all day trying to make sure we have, enough PPE in stock. We have enough people on shift, right? We have people quarantined. We were lucky that we had some wonderful facilities nearby donate hotel rooms for hospital workers. So that if they were worried about, people at home, kids or aging population and taking COVID home, they could actually stay, in a hotel. But it was just surreal. I mean, I think many of us remember it like it was yesterday, although we don't want to.
For real.
But I do think that it showed a lot of potential fractures in the system and also too the need for not only our healthcare workers and caregivers who are caregivers by profession, but also what we're talking about, which is being a family caregiver, right?
Absolutely.
It made it even harder. This episode of Sandwich is brought to you by Tumbleweed. If you've ever felt like caregiving is overwhelming, trying to manage all the paperwork, decisions, and emotions all at once, that's exactly why Tumbleweed was built. Tumbleweed helps families get organized and stay connected around what matters most. Your loved one's wishes, their important documents, and all the stories and memories that deserve to be remembered. And now, they recently launched CC,
your care coach in your pocket, which is an AI guide that offers support, reminders, and gentle check-ins when you need them most. CC helps make sense of what's next, one step at a time. Because caregiving shouldn't have to feel like you're doing it all alone. To learn more or start your journey today, go to tumbleweedplan.com. That's tumbleweedplan, PLAN.com, and click Get Started. Now back to the show.
So as you would go home at moments and, break down, how did you get up and do it again the next day?
Prayer, on my knees praying. That was one of the things that I did, Paul. Another thing I did, I just kind of just went into that place and that space of peace, inner peace, right? Because you always got to deal with the inside, because what's on the inside of you is going to come out eventually, right? So anchored, reading my word, staying anchored in the word of God, getting his wisdom and letting the God orchestrate what I needed to do. Because literally, to tell the truth, I wanted to jump ship my darn self. Come on, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
We can talk about it, Paul. But I'm
That's
telling
real.
you,
That's
when
real.
that stuff was happening,
Yeah.
some of my colleagues did jump ship. I stayed there. Why? Because it was my assignment, number one, and I had to take care of God's children. It was an assignment that I had to continue to do and still do today. And I'm still standing and I'm still telling my story. You know what I'm saying, Paul? So a lot of people, a lot of people didn't make it.
No.
A lot of people, unfortunately, did not make it through the pandemic. And some of my colleagues, they went out on post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. They just could not take it anymore. They were sending patients in there so fast, and if we couldn't get them out soon enough, it was so much going on. A time in my life that I would never forget, but it's still, though, it's marked, though, right? It's a mark. It's like an imprint in the sand, if you will, of that horrific event and how everything happened in the hospital and how everything had trickled down from the top to the bottom, if you will. But how did I deal with it? I stayed anchored in the Lord. That was me. I had to do it. That was my main anchor. And I took care of myself, prioritized me. Because I had to. I had to go back in there.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. You had to figure out a way to be able to take care of yourself so you could show up for others.
Absolutely.
And, it's interesting because what you've shared in some of our earlier conversations was through COVID, if memory serves, that's actually how Global Caregivers Network was kind of born.
Absolutely.
And I believe it started with one simple question. And what was that question that you were asking yourself?
What do you want me to do? Father, what would you have me to do during this time? That was the question. I literally sat at the table and asked God, what would you have me to do? It's so much going on. And sure enough, now I like to doodle or ditto, if you will. I like to draw pictures and things like that. So let me share. God literally set me at the table and had me draw out the globe and everything. And then put the name Global Caregivers Network. And I want you to make it into a business, right? The LLC. Then I want you to trademark it. I want you to do this, this, and this. So I followed it to the T, right? Now, that was initially in 2021, if you will. And then Christmas Day. Now, what are we going to do? Now, we need people. We got people. But you know what? I heard them say, you know what? They need to share their voice. I'm like, they need to talk about it. They need to bring their voice to the stage. Caregivers have a voice. And caregivers need to be heard. A lot of them I was just hearing, like at work and things like that. Dang, they just talking. Wow, I'm going through this. I have nobody to turn to. I have my siblings there, but nobody come and help me. I'm hearing this. And sure enough, on December 25th, 2021, Global Caregiver Speakers was introduced.
Fantastic.
And that's how all this was birthed, and this all happening and it's continued to go on and on. Now, I said it was 2021, but 2022 was really the official time, because what I was doing in 2021, I was pretty much just trying to figure out,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Because I started spotlighting caregivers. I'm like, let me just see how this is going to work.
Yep.
So I didn't really officially become official until 2022.
Well, like you, Tumbleweed, right? It was in what I call ideation and learning stage for almost a
There
year.
you go.
Right? You're trying to figure out, like, what is it? How do I solve this problem? Right? It's my first time building. Mine's a C corporation, right? So it's like there's so
Right.
many things to learn. So I don't want you
Yes.
to discount that just because it wasn't it wasn't registered and you didn't have your incorporation documents, it was just as real. It was just in that build mode. So
Yes.
don't discount yourself on that one, Sherrell.
I'm not, you know what? I said I'm not going to discount it, because that was the what? That was the leading up to
Yep.
where we
Yep.
are now.
Exactly.
And in the process of just having fun, Paul, I'm just going to spotlight some caregivers. And guess what? 20 caregivers showed up.
Wow, that's amazing.
I'm like, oh my goodness, really? They wanted to share their story.
Yep.
That's let me know, keep this thing going.
Yep.
Because they voice want to be heard.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just
they want to feel heard. And I think also too, with Sandwiched and in my own research, a lot of caregivers and family caregivers, they often feel very alone. And like, where are my people? Where do I go? Who's doing this work? So I'm curious from your experience, because you're a caregiver by profession, right? As a nurse.
Correct. Yes.
And you work with a lot of caregivers. Have you had conversations with family caregivers in your role as a nurse?
Absolutely. Every day there's a conversation. And can you just imagine over the years how many conversations I've had with family members, from the grandmother to the grandfather to the mother to the sister to everyone in between? The major conversations that people have with me is about mainly what should they be doing?
Mm-hmm.
Their mental health. They feel burnt out. They feel overwhelmed. What can I do? Where can I get help?
Yeah.
Mind you, those that have been thrust into it, they have no idea where the support is at. They're just coming in, right? So a lot of people I was hearing, I don't have the support. I have no one here to help me. I feel overwhelmed. I feel burnt out. I don't know what to do. These are real questions, right? What do you do when your loved one have just been diagnosed with cancer? What do you do when you have breast cancer, a sudden diagnosis? You keep going back to the doctor. They don't know. They might see something. They may not see something. We see a dot. We don't see a dot. You see? And all of this is sudden. I speak about the big C because I can relate to that, because my fiance had stomach cancer.
Oh, wow.
He came down with stomach cancer and he passed away in 2011.
Oh.
And that's what my caregiver book came out. I Will Wait Until Morning, right? A caregiver book about a loved one. Yes, that was real. Taking care of him with his cancer. So how do you deal with that? And I talk about being thrust into it, because even though I was taking care of people in the hospital, I was thrust into taking care of him.
Yeah.
You follow me?
Oh, yeah.
So everything just changed. The trajectory of life just changed right there. And those are real questions that people ask. So I talk about the mental part of it. A lot of them was asked about, it was their mental health, their mental well-being. Damn, I'm tired. I'm depressed. I'm sick. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Right? They crying. They screaming. Who can I talk to? Who am I going to talk to? Right? These are real. Some of them just cried them. I let them just cry to me. Right? We sit in the family room. We crying. I'm holding hands. May I pray for you? Whatever you need me to do, I'm here for you. But mind you, they had to go back home and still deal with that situation.
Yeah.
And you always ask the question, Paul, how can you take care of someone else when you're pouring from an empty vessel?
Yep.
An empty cup. What's the vessel? The vessel is you, your body, your mind, your spirit, your soul. How are you dealing with this? People ask me all the time, Sherrell, I don't know how you doing. I'm not doing it. It's the Holy Spirit that's orchestrating this, baby. And it takes someone to undergird you. It takes prayer and all of that to keep this thing going. Like I say, you don't know my story. You don't know what I've been through. But the way I look, I ain't never looked this way all the time, right? You know, I leave a little sparkle wherever I go. You see what I'm saying? Paul, I leave a little sparkle wherever I go.
Yes.
Listen,
Yes.
I wasn't able to do that when I lost my loved one.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with real life situations.
Yeah.
I'm grieving. I went through the 5 stages,
Yeah.
but I came out of it. I'm still standing. I'm still telling that same story. It still resonates with people's spirit, and they still talking about it. And this is why they want to come and share their story on the Global Caregiver Speakers. Because we have real stories out there. We have real people that's really going through some challenges as caregivers. And that's why I did the unmute the mic for the male caregivers, because they have a voice too.
Yeah. Well, and thank you for that. I mean, I think there's so many reasons why, male caregivers don't get as much voice, to your point. I think some of it is probably cultural, right? It's a little bit more uncomfortable. I think that men communicate and often express or feel differently, perhaps.
Sure.
But I do think that that's actually where you and I first connected last year, was as you were putting together that event. And I appreciate it, because sometimes as a male caregiver, it does feel a little bit different. And like you, mine is, I don't have children. I do have, fur babies, but I've been
There
a
you
family
go.
caregiver since I was a kid, right? I had 2 younger siblings that I cared for. My mom lives with mental illness. And so I stepped up as a family caregiver for many different reasons: personality, style,
Sure.
being the eldest, right? And so it is very interesting, but I commend you for creating a place for men to share their voice as well, and keep doing that. I know they appreciate it. And we need them. We need men to step up more than they already
They
are.
are.
With the aging population, to your point, 63 million here in the US, 1 in 4. Well, guess what,
Yes.
guys? We got to step up. We got to step up more.
Put it out there, Paul.
Oh,
Let 'em
I
know.
am.
Listen,
I am. I promise.
y'all step up and come, step up to the mic.
Yep.
Listen, unmute the mic, unmute the mic.
Yep.
Come tell your story. Come share your story. You're going to resonate with so many people.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's just why I had to put that out there.
I love
because
it.
That was
I
just
love it.
so wonderful.
Absolutely. Sherrell, you've described caregiving and being a part of the sandwich generation as a labor of love. Can you
Yes.
describe for our listeners, what does that mean for you personally?
Absolutely. Thank you for that question, Paul. A labor of love. Number one, labor. You're working hard. You're doing this thing every day. You're putting your heart and soul into taking care of your loved ones, almost to the point where you're forgetting about yourself. That's when you really get in trouble. But it's a labor of love. What is love? Love is an action word. You can tell me all day that you love me. Oh, Sherrell, I love you. I love you. Right? But if you don't show me that you love me, then I cannot tell that. So when you show a labor of love to whomever you're taking care of, you put your heart, your soul, your passion into taking care of them. Then I always say this: if your heart is not in it, get out of it. Because then you start feeling resentful for taking care of someone, because they want you to do a little bit more than you thought you had to do. They become a little bit more needy, if you will. And some people cannot deal with that. They cannot. They feel resentful for taking care of their mom or their dad. When they say the reciprocity is, when you take care of someone, others, it's going to always come back to you. Someone's going to take care of you just like you took care of them. So that labor of love goes a long way, Paul, right? It can be in what you do, your love, your deeds, how you just take care of the people. And it's definitely a labor, because you're working.
It's a labor. And it's a labor on top of, life's already hard, right? Life is,
Right.
life's got a lot of ups and downs and twists and turns. And so you're right. Like, it is a labor. And I think it's important that we remind people that it's okay to realize and talk about, I can love and care for this person, and it is labor. It does take time and energy and
Absolutely.
resources. But something else that you shared, Sherrell, that I wanted to share, something that I've personally realized is, I innately became a caregiver. I actually didn't even realize I was a caregiver until pretty recently, which is kind of
Mm,
interesting. But to your point, I actually realized I held some resentment. And it wasn't so much so that I couldn't deal with it, but it was the missed opportunities. It was the
okay.
grieving of some of my childhood, right?
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I wanted to spend a moment on the resentment, because I think that when we have an awareness around it, and we can understand that it's a labor of love and leaning in,
Yeah.
and we can
Mm-hmm.
make action decisions about, I'm going to do this, and I know that this is going to be hard. But I do think that sometimes we get in the midst of things before we realize it's as hard as it is. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm curious, from your perspective, thinking about, I just shared that I identified some resentment that I've been working through, and I've shared with my loved ones. Hey, I have some resentment towards you because of some of these situations. It doesn't change my love for you. It doesn't change
Sure.
that I wanted to do it. It's just something that I realized, to your point, I didn't put myself first, and I'm having to relearn. So if someone said to
Mm-hmm.
you something like, hey, Sherrell, I'm struggling with resentment of my carry, the person I'm caring for,
Mm-hmm.
what might you say to them?
Well, one thing I would ask them, just take a pause, take a deep breath. Let's sit down. Let's talk about this. Now, I want to hear from you. This is us just having a conversation. You said that you felt a resentment towards your family member. In what way? What is it that's making you feel that way? That's number one. So if I ask you that question, Paul, what was it that was making you feel resentment towards your siblings? What was going on?
I mean, towards my siblings, it was probably just that they got to be kids. And I had to cook, and I had to clean, and I had to take them to school. I had to make sure they were bathed and make sure they were dressed. It was probably missed childhood, was maybe how I'd frame it looking back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's, you know what? And that's real. That's really how you felt. You felt like you had was taken out of the equation and put into a role
Hmm.
that you didn't even ask for.
Yes.
It's like you was being treated unfairly. Why am I doing this? Yes, I'm the oldest, but look, they all outside playing. I don't have a chance to go out and play like that. Yes, those are real emotions,
Yep.
real feelings, right? So, in dealing with someone like that, if someone came and asked me a question like that, I would just have them let them know. Number one, you have to talk to the person about it.
Yep.
Talk to the person that you're taking care of. Guess what? They may not even know that you even feel this way. A lot of times they don't. Because what do? We know how to put the mask on.
Hmm.
We know how to say, oh, mommy, everything is fine. I'll be here. Then you go in the back room. You know what? I'm really just not feeling mother today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
That double
Yep.
standard.
Yep.
But we have to be transparent, even with the care, the person that we're taking care of. There's nothing wrong with sitting down and saying, you know what, mom, dad, I'm just not feeling it today. I'm not. But I'm gonna do the best I can for you. But and then you really just have to put the cards on the table. And it's okay what? To feel the way that you do. These are real emotions, and it will build up, and you will become what? Resentful, feeling bitter, feeling like you've been treated unfairly. Why me becomes the question.
Yeah.
Why me? Out of all my siblings, I'm the one get caught. Why? You was the chosen one. You was already chosen while you was in your mother's womb, right? That you was gonna be the one to do what you do for the family and do what you do now. Guess what? I'm the chosen one. I have 7 siblings, well, 6. Unfortunately, my 2 brothers passed away,
Oh,
but I
sorry.
have 4 sisters, right? And I'm telling you, every time something goes on, guess who get caught in the middle? The sandwich generation.
Well, Sherrell, you're the expert. I feel like the experts get the first call, right? And however they're an expert, right?
That is so funny because I am like, you know what? I feel how they be feeling. It's like, Wait a minute. It's more than one person in this family, right? But listen, even in the hospital, Paul, I used to be a case manager. The siblings, they always fight. You always have three people in the family. You have the controlling one. You have the one that don't mind, that's in the middle, don't care which way it go. And then you have the one that's not going to say anything, the passive aggressive. They're not going to say anything. And then the one that's controlling, kind of like got that control thing going. Well, I can take care of this and I can do all of this. That's the one that everybody start looking at like, okay, you go ahead and do it. Meanwhile, even the one that's the controlling one is feeling overwhelmed.
Yep. Yeah.
But they never say anything. They never be transparent with their siblings. Let them know, I can't do this by myself.
Yep.
What's wrong with sitting at the table and let's talk about how we're going to do this with mom and dad?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You are not the only one. I say this all the time when I speak at gatherings, at churches and things like that, wherever. Be transparent. Share the wealth. Share the caring. Right? Mother didn't just have you. Mother didn't just have me. This not no solo. We're going to go low with this by ourselves. We're not doing that. Right? So you utilize everyone. But you know what happens? If that's how you feel about it as the control person, they let you go right ahead and do it.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
will let you do it.
They will. And Sherrell, I love that you brought this up because I think about it in a couple ways.
Mhm.
One is that I started doing with my two, so I actually have 5 younger sisters through different marriage dynamics, right?
Sure.
But on my mom's side, I
Uh-huh.
have 2 younger sisters. And so over the last probably 2 years or so, especially, I started to have conversations with both of them. And the two of them are a little bit estranged, which, family dynamics, right, are always a little
Sure.
interesting. So I'm kind of the conduit between the two of them. But I was like, hey, look, I get that I was probably a bit of the controlling one. I'll own that. I've realized that, right? But I think for me, the controlling was really, I was trying to control to mitigate bigger ripple effects, right?
Sure.
So that's kind of the way it
Absolutely.
showed up. But I was like, look, like I can't do this alone. Mom has got a lot of years. Our parents are very, very young. And I was like, she's going to be here for at least another 20, 25 years, which is fantastic. And
Mhm.
I'm not going to be the main primary caregiver for the next 20 to 25 years. So can we
There
start
you go.
talking about how do we all show up? How can I lean on you? What do we want to
Mhm.
divide and conquer, right? Like what are the areas
Sure.
that are maybe easier on one of us or less taxing, right? And so I
Right.
think that having those conversations have been very helpful. We have a long ways to go,
Good.
but they've been very helpful. And I've shared with them
Beautiful.
some of the resentment and some of the pain. So I think it's improved our relationships, right?
Beautiful.
So I think those
Beautiful.
have been interesting. But I also wonder too, sadly, I've seen both in my personal life and in my professional life, family dynamics when a death occurs can get really not good.
For
It can
real.
really fracture a lot of families that sometimes is never repaired again. And maybe it wasn't meant to be. That's
Sure.
what the path was always going to happen. But it does make me wonder how many of these conversations about caregiving and our aging parents or grandparents could allow us to speak more transparently and have better conversations and dialogue so that
Mhm.
when something happens, we've already dealt with some of those things and
Right.
it's not just we're left
Absolutely.
with anger and resentment and frustration and pain after. So yeah, that's really interesting that you shared that. I know you've shared for you personally that prayer and positive affirmations are central to your life. And so I
Mhm.
want to ask you to share kind of on two sides. One is because I want to be respectful of listeners who might not be religious. They might be more
Sure.
agnostic. And we have a
Absolutely.
lot of listeners who are also religious. So I think that kind of the prayer, but also the positive affirmations for those who maybe are looking for a way to feel grounded and connected in a little bit different way. I'd love for you to
Mhm.
share how you approach both of those.
Well, like you said with your audience, everyone is not into the prayer thing, and that is fine. However, find whoever or whatever is your higher being and get in that place, in that space where you can just have that time to just be alone, to just think for yourself, right? For me, it was peace. I had to have that peace, man. I'm talking about it was just so much going on. I had to have that peace. And another thing I always do in the morning, right, with the prayer, do that. And then I also have positive affirmations that you mentioned. You have to speak into your spirit being, right? You are who you say you are. If I say, I wake up, I'm feeling good today. I am beautiful. I am strong. I am an achiever. I am a motivator. I am the one that's going to get the job done. I am God's masterpiece. You see what I'm saying? These are things, you see how I'm running them off, but I say them all the time. So the thing about that is, it's in me. I'm going to say I'm a conqueror. I'm a champion. I am God, who God says I am. You see what? And those are the positive affirmations. Say who you are. I am worth it. An affirmation is just positive words that you say to yourself. Not just say it, believe it. Because we can say a lot of things.
Yep.
But if you don't believe that you are who you say you are, then what? You just blowing off dust.
All right. Well, Sherrell, I know we're getting close to time, so I have a couple of questions for you. And this first one's going to be a toughie. You ready? What's your favorite sandwich?
My favorite sandwich is the Jimmy John's turkey. The bomb.
Yeah? Well, what perfect
Yes.
timing. It's November, Thanksgiving's around the corner. Okay. And then last question, Sherrell, words of wisdom to our listeners. What are some things you would like to leave folks with as we wrap our conversation for today, at least?
Absolutely. Thank you for that question. Number one, take care of you. Prioritize you as number one. Number two, get you a supporter. Like I just said, get you a support group, your own little inner circle. It can be 3 people. It can be 5 people. It don't have to be a whole group of folks, but get you some positive thinkers around you. Number 3, go on a vacation. Take a vacation, respite care. Keep it simple. Don't have to be going to this big old cruise or anything like that. Just get away from everything and everybody. And most of all, do not pour from an empty cup. That cup is your vessel. That's you. That's your body, right? Do not do what you cannot do. We get exhausted. Why? Because we're pouring from an empty vessel. Make sure that you refill your cup every day. It has to be a daily refilling. You can't wait till you get to the middle of the week. You already have gone. A daily refueling of your system, of your body, of your mind, of your soul. And that's what I want to leave you with. And know that you are loved. Know that you are not alone. And know that you can reach out to someone. There is people that you can reach out to. And know this, know that we love you at Global Caregivers Network and Global Caregiver Speakers. You can always reach out to me. I'm here for you. My email, if you don't mind, Paul.
Absolutely.
They can get in contact with me at my email, Sherrell at globalcaregiversnetwork.com. Then also go on Facebook. We all on Facebook. We on LinkedIn. Go find me on Sherrell D. Mims. See what we've been doing on YouTube. Global Caregivers Network and Global Caregivers Speakers is going to be here for the duration, just like God gave it to me. Caregivers' voice matter. Come share your voice with us so the world can hear you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Beautiful. Sherrell, that was wonderful. And what we'll do is we will have links to all of those in our show notes. So when folks listen, be sure to look at the show notes. We'll have details on a way to connect with Sherrell, link to the event if you happen to be listening to this before November 8th, 2025. And if not, I know that Sherrell does put them on her YouTube channel. So we'll be sure to have links to all of the events to stay connected. And like you, Sherrell, I always like to leave people with this. We are better together. So please take care of yourself and be sure to stay connected with others in your circle and people that you maybe don't know that are out there cheering you on, as we all are here at Sandwiched and Beyond. And so, Sherrell, thank you for your time. It has been wonderful. And I'm excited for the event on Saturday.
Yes.
I'll see you then.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Paul. We'll see you Saturday.
Thank you.
Your audience, thank you.
Wow, Sherrell, what a story.
Thank you so much for your openness and transparency and just being so giving of the work that you do at work, in your day job, as well as with the Global Caregivers Network. It's really inspiring. To our listeners, if Sherrell's story moved you, please do join us Saturday, November 8th. And if you're listening to this after then, again, details will be in the show notes so you can actually visit and watch at your own leisure. I'm Paul Richardson, and this has been Sandwiched. Remember, we are better together.
Sandwiched is a Second X studio production with production support by Brennan Plank and the Tumbleweed team. We thank Tumbleweed for their support. And remember, we are better together. See you next week.